Eric,
All right. Well, I'm evidently lagging. Well, Kupar Akbar, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cross and the Crescent Discussion Group. This is a live stream show dedicated to rightly dividing the truth between Christianity and Islam. I just pulled up my YouTube channel, and because my intro was lagging on my screen, and evidently I was done for a couple seconds. I'm sitting here picking my teeth because I just had supper there. It's right here, proof. I'm sorry. I had to eat something before I sat down. I was starving to death. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm glad we are here. Okay, so today we're just kind of throwing this show together today because we have gotten some weather here in Kafirstan South. We've gotten about 6 inches of snow, a little more than that if I'm not mistaken. What did I do with my phone? I don't even have my phone with me. I tell you what, Mr. Unprepared. Anyway, we've gotten about 6 inches of snow, and we've gotten quite a bit of ice on top of that. And I was out on the roads today, and the roads are terrible. But the kept car is 4x4 with a Jeep Wrangler. Have fun in with my retirement mobile. And then I quit being retired. But anyway, I went out and I was out in the snow, and that thing will take you anywhere you want to go. Love that truck. Anyway, so today, what are we going to talk about? Today we're going to revisit what we had started last week. And unfortunately, our friend Issa isn't here. And I just sent this out maybe 2 hours ago, an hour ago. And we're going to be critiquing his debate. Finish critiquing his debate that we had started last week. And then we're going to talk about what's going on in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Because that's made the news. I don't mean to make the weather the news because here in Kafirstan we don't normally get this much snow. And it's kind of fun to get it, and we're out of school, which is the best part, for at least the next 2 days, I would suspect, maybe all week if we're lucky. And the reason why we get out of school for so long is because there's simply no snow removal. Well, there's very little snow removal equipment here. It's not supposed to get above freezing until actually next Monday. So I don't suspect that we will be in school this entire week, which is okay. We get a spring break before the spring break, which is okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling on this review. Last week we had talked about several things. I kept my note card here with me. We talked about how the debate was. Let me just refresh everybody's memory. The debate was between Issa Kabeer and AP, Apostate Prophet, and they debated a guy by the name of Junior and Julian, two guys. Julian just looks like he just walked out of a graveyard. I'm sorry for keep saying that, but I just every time I look at this guy, I'm like, what? Who has that type of complexion? I mean, seriously, it's spooky. But anyway, and then this other joker that goes by the name of Junior, and spells a Junior with a V after. I don't understand that. But that's all right. Am I still live, Paul? Are you there? Okay, you're still there. You're muted, Paul.
Yes, you're live. You're live.
I didn't see you moving, so I didn't know you had frozen.
I'm trying to get that thing going that I was talking about.
Yeah, that's all right. And then make sure you plug that for everybody to watch tomorrow also. Okay, so during the debate, they had discussed things like the title of the debate was Christians versus Muslims, and then it's history or Israel or Hamas, who is more wrong? And thank you, Crusader. I appreciate that. Crusader in the chat told me that I'm El Lima Charlie. Yeah. But the debate, when we start talking about who is more wrong, well, my question would be in what way is Israel wrong? Is Israel wrong for defending themselves? Is Israel wrong for trying to go after the group that is trying to annihilate it? wipe it off the face of the earth? I would say no. You can criticize Israel, in the way that what they did it. In war, a lot of people don't understand is that when you are operating in an urban environment in warfare, it is literally a living hell. Around every street corner is death. That's the way you have to treat it. You have no idea, even lying in rubble, a building that's blown to pieces, an opening that big around. You sit back. A sniper can sit back 6 feet and have a wide breadth of the field of fire, and you're just wide open. And so to criticize the Israelis, saying, "Well, you can't go in there and blow that place," whatever. That's pretty much the only way that you can fight a war like that. Is take the buildings down to go see that.
Urban warfare. It's corners. It's snipers. You take out the building. I'm sorry. I don't have very much pay. The Israelis are a lot kinder. They'll only take out a section of a building. They can really be thankful I am not the guy that's making choices, because I would take out a building.
Yeah. When we look at the ratio of civilians that have been killed in Gaza versus the number of soldiers, and I think it's
or Hamas agents. They're not real soldiers.
I don't call them soldiers. Yeah, they're not soldiers. These soldiers go out and defend their people. They don't hide behind them like the Hamas soldiers do.
Yeah, they don't hide behind children and women. These guys are cowards.
Right. Yeah. I think it's like 2-1, 3-1, maybe. Anytime that you get anything below like 7-1, you're golden. The Israelis are like half of that, and they're still criticized because why? Well, they're Jews, and we know how them Jews are now, don't we? Them Jews are always conniving. Shut your pie hole. You're just an anti-Semitic little pig, and you don't know any better. That's the only thing that you can do is to say, well, them Jews are committing genocide. Shut up. You don't know what genocide is if that's what you're saying. They engage in apartheid. Shut up. If that means that you don't know what apartheid means. The only people that are committing genocide or tried to commit genocide is the Hamas, and the only one that actually practiced apartheid are the Hamas. You don't find any Jews in the West Bank, and the Christians are persecuted also. So you want to talk about who's committing apartheid?
Well, apartheid. I mean, so name one Jew who's allowed to vote in an area called Gaza, please.
Yeah, exactly. When was the last time they had elections?
16
years ago. No, it's more than that. It's 2007. It's been 19 years ago. Brad, I don't know if you want me to bring you up on stream. There he is. Okay, he can do it on his own.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Lots of background noise, though. It still sounds like a washer and dryer in there.
Yeah, it sounds like you're washing your clothes. I mean, what'd you do? Just
hold on.
He was, I called him today, or actually he called me. I tried calling him. He didn't answer his phone. And he finally calls me and he's like,
that's not true.
He was breathing real heavy. I'm like, what happened? He goes, oh man, I was out shoveling snow and cleaning off the car. I'm like, dude, come on. I thought you just bought a new membership to Planet Fitness or whatever.
I did.
You did buy it, yeah. Okay, now when you get a membership, that means you're supposed to go.
I was out there. I was shoveling 6 inches of snow, shoveling out my car that's been buried in the driveway, in the parking lot, shoveling out the walk, throwing all kinds of ice, and cleaning up my car that had 6 feet. What did he do? He's like, I do that too. I'm like, what? He's like, well, let's clean off my car. I'm like, dude, I just shoveled all this snow. He's like, I just had someone come with the backhoe and do all that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually have a friend. I'm thinking about instead of getting out in the morning, I might call a friend and say, "Can you plow me out?"
That's what my neighbor does. He has a.
All right. Well, you do what I did and tell me, and then run right in to go call him.
Yeah, when I was out cleaning the snow off my car, what I did is I went in and I started up. And then turned the heat on and waited for all the snow to melt off. I guess that's what I did.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's the way to do it. People up there in Chicago have no idea. Okay,
Yeah,
so
whatever.
we're getting ready to get back into the debate, and we were talking about some of the points that were made. We were talking about the history, how he had the history was wrong. They were talking about genocide, apartheid. What else did they talk about? The Temple Mount, how it doesn't. It's not the same Temple Mount as the Bible. Um, he said,
Oh yeah, that was funny. That's what I
yeah,
think I laughed. That was funny.
how stupid. Yeah. Then we were talking about the money that is given to Israel. And the reason why Israel, and I figured out, and have been accused of this, and I don't know if you've been accused of this, Paul or Rad, but um, I've been accused, because in order for Israel to exist, they have to pay a lot of people off. And I'm one of the guys that they pay off. They bring me a bucket of money every other week and set it on my front doorstep. And in order for them to do that, our country has to subsidize them. So in order for me to continue to get paid by the Jews, in order to espouse my pro-Israeli rhetoric and mantra here, I have to. I'm serious. I've been accused of taking money from the Jews. Literally, I've been accused of that. Then they were talking about.
But I thought you
How,
were, dude. I thought you were. I thought you were.
Hey,
well,
actually,
I can't admit it here because then I have to claim it on my taxes. So I just keep
Okay.
it on the
Okay.
down low. And
boy,
plus
that
it's
would be
coming
a
up.
lot more money than what I'm making now. That's okay.
Yeah, tax season's coming up. We want to keep that quiet. Okay, and then he talked about how the Quran is just an absolute miracle, and how we know this is because Muhammad didn't know how to read. How could somebody possibly memorize these type of things and not know how to read?
He
Well,
doesn't know anything about his own Quran. It just tells me he's a total idiot about Islam.
well, my argument on that is that you just ask your average eighth grader to repeat a rap song they just heard, and they'd be
Oh,
able
there
to
you
do
go.
it almost verbatim, word for word, boom, 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 boom. And you're just like, how do you remember that? And you go, I know the beat. Okay, it's the same thing. Some people have that ability, and then plus in ancient oral cultures, being able to memorize what people said verbatim, word for word, was not uncommon. You look in some of the even in Roman culture, you have people who can recite almost entire chapters of a book uh, just within a day of reading it. And the same thing with when we talk about the Gospels, how the Gospels were written. How could they possibly write these Gospels, 20 years later and 30 years later and remember all that? Well, number one, they heard it all the time. Christ was an itinerant preacher. He went out and basically preached the same sermon from place to place to place to place. So the apostles are going to remember this. But number two, they lived in an oral culture. And in oral cultures, they're able to remember these type of things. So this idea that Muhammad can't read was a sure sign that he was a prophet is just stupid. Okay, then we get to 2 hours 39. Let's see, 2 hours 39 minutes, and he's talking about Temple Mount itself again. So let me go back to this and play it. 2:39:03. We'll start there and see what he has to say. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Bring it up once again. There we go. Go. Where are we at? Where's the play button? Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Okay.
From the martyr says, Junior, if you're against the Talmud, oh God, they said, Junior, if Palestine was there before the Jews, why is the Al-Aqsa Mosque built over the Temple of Solomon? How much petrol did you huff today?
It's not built over any temple. When our beloved companions went and saw this land, it was a flat land, flattened. Ruins, at least you have one wall some rocks left over. There was nothing. It was flat land. It was flattened to the ground by God himself.
Okay, but everybody knows that there was the temple right there on the spot.
No, only Jews knew that. And you
Okay. Now, I don't know. I'm not. Hold on. Let me just see what exactly his argument is here.
never going to build that temple, by the way. You can try for the next 1,000 years. It's never going to be.
Okay, but
Okay, so he wants to insert there. You're never going to be able to build a third temple. It's prophesied in the Bible. It's going to happen. It might not happen for this year or maybe next year, but it's going to happen, regardless of what you say about it. You and your rat ally.
But that's the point. So the questioner asked why it was built on the spot of the Temple of Solomon. Everybody knows that is the spot. Why was it built there?
It wasn't built on the Temple of Solomon. It was built on regular land. Do you think we came and did that on purpose?
Yes, I actually do. When Abd al-Malik had the Dome of the Rock built, he had it built purposely on top of the place where the Jews had their temple, and overlooking the Church of the Holy Sepulchre to disgrace the Christians.
This is a tradition that happened through Islam. For every conquest, they would destroy a temple or worship place. They would tear up the stones for whatever that place was. They crushed them. And then they would deliver the stones back to Medina, and they pour them outside the mosque as for the walkway. So this was a tradition that happened historically. This just tells you Junior's a grade F. I mean, for maybe first grade understanding of Islam. I don't know where he gets his knowledge, because it's not from Islam.
So wait, okay, so hold on a second. Let me make sure I heard this right. So he's saying that the temple was not built on the Temple Mount.
The temple was not built. The Dome of the Rock is not built on top of, number one, where the Jewish temple used to sit, and number two,
he doesn't understand. I mean, he doesn't even understand history today.
Can you rewind it? Can you rewind it? I just want to hear that clip played in totalitarian.
Yeah, I can do that. Listen to this garbage again. Let me see here. Where are we at? No, I went too far. Sorry.
Not built over any temple. When our beloved companions went and saw this land, it was a flat land, flattened. A room.
Okay, it was flat land. It was flattened. Now, if he is at all familiar with the topography of Jerusalem and the Old City, the Jewish temple, the Temple Mount itself is a raised platform. Built by Herod, expanded. Hi there, Issa. We're still reviewing your debate, brother.
Oh, I saw. Thank you. I was at work, so got a little bit.
Well, we're trying to explain Junior's response to the Temple Mount, or denial that the Temple Mount itself.
Okay, so I think he's saying that when the Muslims came there, they didn't see that there was no longer any temple, or is he saying there never ever was a temple built there?
Both.
No, he's just ignorant. He's just as ignorant cuss who doesn't understand Islamic history, never even attempted to read an Islamic history.
Well, right, but so okay. I'm sorry, Issa. What were you saying? It's both, or?
Well, I think it's more of the second one. I think he doesn't believe there was a temple ever built there. This is why I'm thinking I'm going to make a YouTube channel or make a series called Teaching Muslims Judaism and Christianity. Because I think Muslims don't understand Judaism or Christianity. Like, even apologists who are against Christianity, I don't think they really understand what Christianity is. Like, that's been the thing. Like, I feel they can read the text, but then they read it through their Muslim perspective. They don't actually understand what Christianity is. And that's the thing that I've been noticing, because I've been listening to a lot of I guess on my downtime, listen to a lot of like Christian apologetics, and I'm like, I don't think Muslims understand Christianity like at all. And
Well,
they don't
here's the
understand.
thing. Well, here's the thing. We can explain it to them a million times, and then they'll just rinse, wash, and repeat their ignorance. But can you continue playing the clip, because I think you said something interesting that I
Okay,
wanted to get to. Yeah.
got it.
At least you have one wall, some rocks left over. There was nothing. It was flat land. It was flattened to the ground by God Himself.
Okay, but everybody knows that there was the temple right there on the spot.
No, only Jews knew that. And you're never going to build that temple, by the way. You can try for the next 1,000 years. It's never going to be.
Okay, but that's the point. So the questioner asked why it was built on the spot of the Temple of Solomon. We know everybody knows that that is the spot. Why was it built there?
It wasn't built on the Temple of Solomon. It was built on regular land. Do you think we came and did that on purpose?
Listen,
You
yeah.
can't have it both ways. He just said it was, and then he turned around and said it wasn't.
I
Right.
think he's taking the second position. I think he believes in the second position. He thinks that it's just a made up story, that people made up the story. And this is the problem. I didn't know this. So, like the space that I knew around Islam, I thought that most Muslims believed that the prophets were Israelites, they were Jews. That's what I assumed. But later on, I've been starting to understand that it's not even just a little bit of Muslims, it's a lot of Muslims who believe that the prophets are Muslim, which in a sense is that they're kind of Arab, that they're Muslim and Arab in a sense, like not directly stating they're Arab, but whatever Israelite Hebrew tradition they are, it's kind of ripped away from them, and they become this kind of generic Arab prophet. And I find that deeply problematic. I'm like, these people were Israelites. They had a culture. They had a heritage. And if you're a historian, you know that. Whether you agree with doing that particular tradition now, it doesn't matter. But you need to, respect the culture of these people and understand these people. And it was weird because I'm like, they said, well, Jesus is a Muslim. I'm like, well, what does that mean? Are you saying Jesus is an Arab? Like, is that the point you're making? That he did Salat? That he fasted Ramadan? Is this the position you're taking? Because if that is the position you're taking, it's like,
But he was saying that the entire area was flattened, which, if you were going to, this is why I'm saying he has to be completely ignorant and unfamiliar with the topography of Jerusalem, the old city itself, the old city of Jerusalem, and what sits there now, because the Temple Mount, as you know, is raised up a good 30 feet all around the western, eastern, southern. I'm not sure about the northern wall, but I mean it's raised up at least 30 feet, if not more. So it is a Temple Mount where the old Jewish temple sat. It was expanded by Herod the Great. This is not disputed history. And then to say that Solomon's temple never sat atop the Temple Mount, again, this is Islamic history. This is akin to Jesus never dying on the cross. It's the same type of historical methodology that they're using in order to arrive at this conclusion. It's stupid. It's ignorant. What?
Well,
But Issa has something to say. I want to hear what he says.
Rag, you can go. I do. It is very important what I have to say, though.
Oh, go ahead.
So the thing that I wanted to share is, do you know Gil Scott-Schuster? He does the Ask Project, where he goes and interviews Palestinians and Israelis about different things. Have you seen his videos? The Ask Project. The Ask Project?
The Axe Project?
Ask, like asking Israelis.
Oh, no, I'm not familiar with it. Okay, no.
He interviews Palestinians and Israelis. I think you had a clip of his before, where he interviews Israelis and Palestinians about all kinds of issues. And so I went and I shouted him, and I shouted with his partner in Bethlehem. So I got to see, not Bethlehem, Ramallah. So I got to see the different types of perspectives. But the thing that I noted, like one of his videos, he asked, well, what happened before you were Muslim? And they were like, we were always Muslim. And I think that that's the issue, that for some people, their history starts when they became Muslim. Everything before Islam doesn't exist. There was no history. You know what I mean? So history starts when Islam starts. And I think that that's something that I've noticed, like that's the kind of narrative,
Red. What would
Yeah.
you say, Gold?
Okay, so here's the thing, though. Did you guys bring it up? That then, what the hell was the night journey about? What was there when Muhammad went to the third farthest mosque? You know what I mean? I mean, because according to Islamic tradition, Muhammad flew to the furthest mosque, which they in their tradition is the Temple Mount. You know what I mean? Okay, I don't know. The dude is just a moron. Anyway, you got any more to play? I mean,
Consistently inconsistent.
right. So let's get
I
on to the
wanted to
next
say
topic.
one- I want to say one other point, if that's okay. So I had said some stuff to Junior. I brought up to Junior. I said, Junior, I was starting to talk about the story of Yitzhak and not Yitzhak, Yaakov and Esav, or Jacob and Esau, right? I brought up the narrative, and he was kind of like blown away because he hadn't heard these stories. So when you're like raised in a lot of Muslim families, you don't know these stories like at all. You don't know about the birthright narrative because a lot of people don't read the Torah. And I was kind of mind blowing because, like, again, like the Islamic spaces that I was around, there was no problem reading the New Testament or the Torah. There wasn't like, oh, this is bad, you're not allowed to read it. But like what I'm seeing is that there are a lot of Muslims who do believe that it's bad and it's corrupted. And this is like new for me. Like this information is new for me because I'm like, I didn't know that. I thought like you were just like, oh, we just don't focus on that. Not that you can't read it because it's bad, and I guess for some people that's a huge thing. And then that blocks off a lot of
What
information.
story did you say that they believe is corrupt? The story of Isaac and Esau? Is that what you
No, I'm
said?
saying all of it, like the entire Hebrew
Oh, okay.
scriptures. Like all of this stuff is corrupted, so you can't read any of it. And I'm like, but then how do you know any of these stories? Like I did a side-by-side comparison of the story of Joseph, right? The Quran is very, very vague. You don't know who the brothers are. You don't know the locations of the area. It's like the way that the Quran is transmitted, it appears that you're supposed to read the Torah. You know what I mean? It's like you're you're watching a sequel to a movie, and the sequel assumes that you've watched the first of the iterations, right? I feel the Quran is like that. The Quran is not transmitted in a way that you can understand it without these other texts. Do you know what I mean?
Well, there's no way to communicate. Just look at that with the chapter 12. They call that the best of their stories, with the story of Yusuf or Joseph but you can't even know who Joseph's brothers are or anything about Joseph unless you actually read the book of Genesis. So
Exactly.
yeah, so if you don't know anything about the book of Genesis, you can't really judge the Quran because that just tosses out the Quran as being a book of lies. But you have to read it in order to understand anything about the Quran.
That's exactly my point. That's exactly it, Paul. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, you don't understand this. Like, how could you understand who the big JC is if you don't read the gospel? You don't know who he is. So, like, if a Muslim says, I love, Jesus, more than any Christian, how could that be true if you don't even know who Jesus is? You have to read the gospel to know who Jesus is. That's the only real recorded information. Like, what the
Well,
Quran
I'm
gives
kind of
us.
curious what teachings does Jesus provide to them in the Quran?
It's nothing.
The Jesus of the Quran is nothing but an excuse for Muhammad and a denial of the Trinity. That's all Jesus is in the Quran. It has nothing to do with his teachings. It has nothing to do with Sermon on the Mount stuff. It is nothing but a bunch of convoluted garbage that is regurgitated or plagiarized from apocryphal sources. I mean,
the one thing that's in there about Jesus is allowed to rebuke Allah.
Jesus is what?
Jesus rebukes Allah in there because Allah gets the Trinity mixed up. And Jesus says, I didn't say that.
Like, I didn't say that. What are you talking about? I'm not saying that I'm God. Why would I say I'm God?
So
that's the only thing he does.
The person who is, according to Muslims, not God, tells Allah he's stupid. But that's okay.
Yeah, as long as you're not insulting Muhammad and you're insulting Allah, that's okay, according to Muslims.
Wow.
The thing that I was gonna say about what the Quran is, that if you haven't had a chance to read this, the Syro
Can you send
Aramaic
that to me?
reading of the Quran.
Could you email that to me, like the title of that?
It's by Christopher Luxembourg. That's not his real name. The guy. Anyway, what he does is he goes through the Quran and he removes a lot of the diacritical marks of the Arabic and retranslate. Anyway, when he comes out, let me just the easiest thing to say what he comes out with. He comes out that the Quran is nothing but a bunch of Christian homilies and songs, is all it really is. And he was able to do this by going through letter by letter of the Quran. And he did this. I mean, this book is probably 50 years old. It's just been recently translated into English, and it's just absolutely phenomenal what this guy has found by going through the Quran. You know, when we start looking at a lot of these revisionists, when we start talking about, okay, show me where we have, prove that Mecca existed in the 7th century. That's revisionist, the recent revisionist type argument. And we know this, it's a great argument because there is no evidence supporting the existence of the 7th century Mecca. Another revisionist would be Dan Gibson. Dan Gibson in, this is one of his books, The Early Islamic Qiblas, and more importantly, this book, Quranic Geography. If you ever get a chance, get this book too. And it shows precisely how the Quran and the Hadith don't match up to the land in which Muhammad supposedly came from. So there's another big problem. The other thing is with the Qiblas, the earliest Qiblas, don't point towards Mecca. Well, where do they point to? Well, they point towards someplace further north, whether it's Petra, like Gibson assumes, whether it's Jerusalem. I don't care. What I do care about is that they're not pointing in the direction in which they're supposed to point. That is the problem. The Muslims make all these other, examples or excuses saying, well, he uses Google Earth. Or shut up. Shut your pie hole. Those Qiblas don't point towards Mecca. Now it's your problem. I don't care what Gibson says about, with his hypothesis that it's Petra. It very well may be. He's got a lot of good evidence for it. But that's not the point. The point is that they don't point in the right direction. So when we start talking about revisionist history here, where Junior is trying to say that the Temple Mount did not exist in the 7th century, it never existed. He's just full of crap, is what he is. That's not how you do history. History is dependent upon primary source material, whether that primary source material comes in the form of manuscripts, whether that comes in the form of artifacts, as discovered through the archaeological processes. The foundation for Islam is bankrupt, and he wants to sit there and has the temerity to say that, well, the Temple Mount, we don't have any evidence for it. You're an idiot. I mean, I'm not sorry for that. He's just an idiot for regurgitating it and not doing any type of what's
interesting?
What am I saying? Like, I'm starting to sound like Yasser Qadi when a person does a deep dive. Okay, there we go. I was going to say, we're very awkward here.
Yeah, we have to do a deep dive.
You're starting to sound like Yasser Qadi. I'm like, okay, you got my attention, brother. Yeah, I agree. Once you start doing a deep dive into it, then you run into problems. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, Brother Eric, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to add on something. I just find it's bizarre. Like, I've been listening, again, like I was listening to a lot of Christian apologetics, and I see a lot of the Muslim guests who come on, and they literally repeat the same thing over and over and over again. Like, there is no diversity in thought. It's literally the same thing. It's like, we believe this, we believe that. And I'm like, well, did you critically analyze your beliefs? Did you engage any of these perspectives?
I think it's worse, Issa. I don't think they have their own beliefs. I think they hear them a source. They don't ever do their own research. They never read the Quran. They never read. I mean, when they don't read the Quran because they can't read Arabic, they have to trust their leader, and their leader's just repeating words he heard from somebody else because he doesn't know he doesn't know Arabic, and that's one of the funniest things Usama and I came into in one place. The mom came out and told me I couldn't know Islam because I couldn't speak Arabic. So I called Usama across the street, and Usama greets him in Arabic and starts talking Arabic to him. The guy says, "I never said I knew Arabic."
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that's required to be a leader of a mosque is to know Sharia. That's it. You don't have to know anything about the Quran.
Okay, let's. You guys want to go on, or do you want to beat this dead horse a little more as far as Junior's ignorance?
I'll keep beating it. Beating it.
I think that there's a lot of interesting things to cover in here, and I think for me, like the most important thing is that there's a lot of projection. I've been thinking about this because I'm like, I've been spending a lot of time thinking this. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but there's a lot of accusations using kind of leftist language to say, well, there's imperialism and colonialism, right? And Christians and Jews have done imperialism and colonialism. They've done slave trades. They've done all these horrible things. But it seems like the buck stops when Muslims do it. And that bothers me. I'm like, if we want to call accountability, we must all be accountable. So if you want to say Christians did enslavement of human beings, fine. That's our past. We got to heal and get over beyond that. Great. If Jews did it, we need to get beyond that and grow with that. And if we're Muslims, we have to do the same thing. And I feel that there's this sort of dishonesty that we want to deny the entire Islamic imperialist colonialistic narrative. And it's there. It's real. And you have to be honest and own it. You have to be honest that Muslims did an enslavement trade. If you want to accuse Europeans of doing a transatlantic slave trade, fine. That was a horrible, evil thing that occurred. Now let's also talk about the East African slave trade. That was primarily Muslims and Arabs that did this.
Oh, no, silly Kafir. That never existed.
And
you see?
And that's so ridiculous because we know that history, it did. We have to talk about piracy. We have to talk about the Barbary pirates. We have to talk about, all of these things from the past and even the present. And I feel that there's this dishonesty. Like I was listening to Daniel Hakikachu, and Daniel takes this position where he's like, Palestinians are suffering. And I think everybody agrees that they're suffering. And we want a path of solution for Palestinians. Everyone wants that. But how do we get that solution? This is difficult. Global politics are difficult. It's not snap your fingers and this is easy. Global leaders have a lot of difficult stuff. It's not an easy path of solutions. That's why not everybody gets these roles. But the thing is, there's like this denial of what's going on. There's a denial of what Hamas did. It's like, Hamas isn't really powerful. They're not really that bad. And I'm like, but all of this stuff happened because they did what they did.
Okay, was there a part of the debate where they denied what Hamas did?
Yes. There's a part where they said it was an inside job. They said that there's the Hannibal Directive and it was an inside job. I don't remember the exact note time. I think it's during the rebuttals. But they said, particularly, like they were saying that it's an inside job. The Israelis.
By who? Were these like Mossad agents that went into these kibbutzes and murdered other Jews? Is that
more like the Nova Festival? That the idea is that the Israelis did this. This was an inside job by Israelis that they killed.
So those people that survived it and saw those paragliders coming in.
Yes.
That.
Well,
Okay.
it's sort of like 9/11 denial. 9/11 did happen.
Right. Okay, and then
9/11 did happen.
seeing people getting literally raped to death and their bodies, that was all Mossad.
And then driving them back through the broken border, and keeping them for how many? 300 plus days. Come on, this is stupid.
That was all the Jews. They did it to themselves. It was all part of the plan.
Well,
Hamas really works for the Jews. They're a Zionist organization. Anyway, is there any more of this debate? I want to see some more of this, dude, because I want to make more fun of this.
All right,
I would
all
just
right.
make one more point too. I'm sorry about this. They talked about sexual assault in the first part in their opening argument, and that bothered me deeply because I'm like, Hamas did sexual assault, and when I've talked to a lot of people, they deny the sexual assault. In Arabic, there's a word, it's called fahisha. Fahisha is like this horrible kind of sexual misconduct, right? And I've heard that they said, well, IDF did this horrible thing to Palestinians. And I'm sure that there are certain portions that happened.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because he said that they were raping Palestinians in prison.
And I'm sure that there's a possibility Americans probably did this too. There's difficulties. There's a lot of trauma. People do bad things. You need to do accountability for that.
No. I'm just going to tell you right now. No. The 21st century American soldier doesn't do shit like that. I'm sorry. We don't. You do not systematically rape prisoners of war. It does not happen.
Well, I'm not saying systematically, but there may be
there are too many safeguards in place. This is why Abu Ghraib was such a big deal, is because these guys. I mean, when you think about what the American soldiers were doing to these guys, doing to these prisoners, they were breaking them down. They weren't raping them. They weren't torturing them. They were breaking them down, making them feel weak and incapable of powerless. Is what it is. It's a power structure. That's all that was. So to say that the Israelis or any, and for that matter, any sophisticated nation's soldiers, to say that they engage in that type of barbaric behavior is just, I don't know. For me as a soldier, who spent his lifetime as a soldier, knowing the people that I know, doing the things that I did, working within a command structure and an environment in which I did, to say that this could happen, it could happen. No doubt about that. It could happen. Anything could happen. But to say that it did happen and happens on a systematic basis, in which we saw the Hamas do to Israelis, no way. No, you're lying through your teeth if you try to make that assertion.
I agree that I don't believe that this is something from higher up. So I'm saying the argument I'm making is that there's a possibility that this could happen. And if it does happen, it needs to be rectified and dealt with. That's the issue. But the thing is, Hamas did systematically want this. And that's the thing where I see this denial where they're like, well, they didn't really want this. It was really just renegade people that were in Gaza and they were under lock and key. But I'm like, I went to the West Bank. There's some difficulty with checkpoints, but they're living it pretty good, man. They've got nice stores. It looks like Israel. It looks a lot like Israel. There's some rundown parts, but it looks really nice. And I think Gaza looked the same too. You know what I mean? Lots of storefronts. The shekels are there. Like, it's not perfect. There's probably problems, of course. There's getting resources from Israel, I'm sure. But what Hamas did is it completely undermined what was good in Gaza. And that's the thing that I'm like, that's where my mind is blown. I'm like, they did have a functional society before Hamas.
And they did have this as their goal. All of these things were planned. That's one of the reasons they had those cameras, was to video it, to show it, to inflict terror. This was part of the plan. That was actually revealed when they went into Gaza and they found the information that revealed this. It's long time. I mean, even I'd rather use Eric's word, but I can't use it about Hamas. But I mean, when you look at the planning issues that were done on this, that told people to do this, and these are just not agents of Hamas. This is the people of Gaza. So you can't blame this on Hamas as a whole, because the people of Gaza took part in this that were not part of Hamas. That's the other point of it.
Well, they even had UNRWA employees taking part in it too.
Yes.
So, yeah, I get that.
And you get media people too.
yeah, exactly. True that. Yeah, to try to make that association. That's just it's absolutely absurd. And it's the same thing as saying, okay, well, look at your Bible. Isaac was 39 and Rebecca was only 3. Look at your Bible. Joseph was 90 and Mary was only 12. All they're trying to do is make biblical characters look like as big as scumbags as Muhammad was for what he did to Aisha. We're getting to that next. But to do this, to say this, he's just trying to make other armies, he's saying that the Israeli army are just as big as a bunch of scumbags as the Hamas soldiers are. And it's just not true. It's not even anywhere close to being true. I mean, you look at how the Israelis value life versus the Hamas soldiers, and how and the importance that they place upon that. It's just really no compare. It's like it's literally like comparing God to Satan, for crying out loud. That's what it's literally like, and it's disgusting for him to even try to make that equation. But again, this is Junior, and we're looking at his level of morality here. It's just a disgusting human being. All right, let's go ahead and play a little bit more of this and see what else he comes up with.
You didn't come, man. You're some guy from Canada.
We didn't build it on the Temple Mount out of disrespect.
Dr. Shuzut says Junior needs his monkey to cope. Why are you zudding that monkey, Junior, that's sick?
The monkey was an improvision. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I didn't plan to do that. But when I heard Apis went to Israel, I was like, let me visualize what his trip looked like, because clearly he was given some money by Netanyahu.
So AP, when he went to Israel, got money from the Jews. Issa, how much money did the Jews give you when you were over there? Don't lie. It's okay. The IRS doesn't watch this show.
So I actually gave money. I supported people there.
No, you did. They gave you money. Now just
yeah, absolutely. They accused me of that, and I thought that was really sick. I'm like, there's a lot of poverty there. I go every year to volunteer. That's one thing I do. I work at soup kitchens. I do volunteering. I helped, Israelis. I helped the Palestinian citizens of Israel. I helped, people in Bethlehem. I was helping everyone when I was there. So I was like, yeah, this is ridiculous.
They didn't give you any money.
Absolutely not. And they didn't give money to AP either. It's so sickening and it's so anti-Jewish. It's disgusting. This is such disgusting propaganda.
It's the propaganda again. It's who like I keep saying, they don't do their own research. These kids, these little children, they're like grade school children who are only going to be able to repeat what they've heard others say because they never do their own research. I don't know how these guys ended up debating you, but they don't even qualify for a first grade level of debate.
I want money from the Zionist Jews. I mean, I'm really depressed on this. But so Issa, you said that the guy on Modern Day Debate who kind of looks like he's a villain now in this picture, out of like a 1950s horror movie. I'm just saying, but that dude right there, that dude. But doesn't he looks like he's out of like a Boris Karloff kind of a horror movie? Anyway,
Didn't you're horrible.
He does. Look at that look. It's like, I'm here. Anyway, so he's like persona non grata. Junior is from Modern Day Debate because of the monkey incidents, or he's just like I don't want to.
No, I don't think so. I think Junior's extremely popular. I think there's a lot of hate that he gets, but he's like the heel from wrestling. Like the heel in wrestling, like portion. I think Junior fulfills that, and I think Junior wants to do that. He's an entertainer, and he does it really well. And he draws people in.
What does he do? What does he do for a real job? Do you know?
He's a musician.
He's a what?
He's a rapper.
Musician.
He's a rapper.
Yeah. He's like DJ Khaled.
Does he literally make money from rap?
Oh, he makes a lot of money. I was listening to him from the pre-show. He makes a lot of money.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good for him.
And James was like, Dr. James was like, can you give me tips on how I can make money too?
I did. I wouldn't have known that. Wow, I'm pretty impressed. Way to go! It's kind of like another imam that was a rapper that we've had on this show before.
Yeah, he didn't make any money on it though.
He wasn't making money out of it. I mean, we got pictures of him at the club, clubbing with the hose. I mean,
Yeah, but yeah, he
all right,
wasn't
let's
making any
move
money.
it.
You know, he's sort of like Steven Seagal. The other imam was like Steven Seagal, where he's like, I have all the black friends.
Okay, let's play some more of this. We're going to eventually get into the point I want to address. It's only about a minute away. Let's listen to what he says.
Interesting fantasies.
The banana represents
The monkey
the money.
looked like apostate prophet and Issa Kabeer.
Oh, the corpse is talking. Hold on, let's listen to what he says.
You have some very, very interesting fantasies.
Oh, he did. say
Big
something.
League Drew says, "Who is Aisha and how old was she?"
Oh, here's the question: Who is Aisha and how old was she? Let's see how they handle it.
She was 6 or 7 at marriage, and 9 when Muhammad raped her.
What? How rape deserves a victim, right?
We don't
Yeah,
say
he
that.
told-
We
Hold on. We can't say raped. Got to say graped. Evidently. Okay, so now listen to Junior's answer here, because he says that since she did not complain, or we don't have any record of her complaint, it's therefore not rape. So unless the victim, if you got a 53-year-old man crawling on top of a 9-year-old prepubescent little girl, it's not rape unless she says, "Hey, yo, look that, you can't do this." This is his excuse.
we can't use that word. We just use
you can't-
forcibly copulates.
Dude,
can't
why,
just-
stop
you
saying
can't-
that word, man. What's wrong with you?
You can't just say that when there's no victim, bro, because you're honestly delusional when you say that word and then you claim that Aisha was a victim, and then you can't bring any evidence of Aisha being a victim. So you've destroyed your
So
own.
what you're saying is
circular
that
fallacy.
if today you have forcibly sexual interaction with a
Why are
younger-
you using modern
with a
standards?
younger person, and that person never complains, that is technically not sexual assault. Is that what you're saying?
It's sexual assault if you're not married to that person. It's out of wed marriage, out of wed sex, which is completely forbidden.
Okay, where is this Junior guy from?
That's insane.
Where?
He's from Canada. He's from Canada.
In Canada, but what that statement was insane. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
I can't believe somebody that lives in the Western Hemisphere would say something
Well,
like this. What the
Hey,
hell?
Cesis,
what's wrong with this guy?
if you're listening, watch this guy.
And if you have sex with a child out of marriage, you're going to hell because you had sex
You
out
should
of
be
marriage.
removed from Canada,
Period.
man.
Bro, you are retarded. You just called a prophet.
Wait, stop that.
Pedophile.
Stop that. Did you hear what he said? If you have sex with a child outside of a marriage, you are going to hell. Now, see, here's the thing where you all should have pounced on that, because you should have said, okay, so if I have sex with a child outside of marriage, I'm going to hell. But if I have sex with a child inside marriage, if I married her, then that's okay. You should have had that clarified, but I get it, whatever. But, look at Issa, AP is laughing here. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, shocking. If you have sex with a child outside of marriage, you are going to hell.
I can't see how anybody can get to his conclusion, which is whether you're married to the person or not.
This guy around.
we're still you can't. How can you arrive at this conclusion? I mean, this is a known mental illness. This is a mental. Hold on, I'm going to bring it up. I think I have it here. Yeah, it's right here. Here we go. Of course, I have it ready. The Kafir is ready to share his screen. It's right here. Here is the definition of pedophilia. This is a sickness. This is a known sickness. Okay, if you have an arousing fantasy, urges for, or behaviors with a, what is this word here? Hold on, what is this? What does that say? Let me do this.
And prepubescent.
Prepubescent child, or children. The individual has acted out. So Muhammad did act out these desires of his, because this is a desire of his, or is experiencing significant distress or difficulty as a result of these desires. He didn't. The individual is 16 years of age and at least 5 years older than the child. Muhammad was 53, Aisha was 9. Okay. He's a pedophile. According to the DSM, this is a psychiatric disorder, folks. This isn't about whether or not she has the ability to complain. We don't know if she complained or not. Nobody. I mean, if
a child won't know what. Okay, in Islam, you can't. A woman's silence is her consent.
But if you're a child, I mean, especially if you're a child, and Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, is doing this to you, who are you going to complain to? Even if you did complain, who are you going to complain to? Your dad, Abu Bakr, his best friend, the one that gave you in marriage, that scumbag? No.
Well, also, there's another point. Okay, in order to prove rape, she would have to have 4 male witnesses actually seeing Muhammad put his 1.5-inch penis in her. Is it 1.5 or is it 1.75? I forgot what he proved. Andrew Wilson, what he proved. But yeah, so this is. I just can't believe he actually said that. That was just completely bizarre. But let's play some more. Let's see what other foot and mouth he plays.
Look at some of these other things. You are sexually Who is sexually attracted to a child? What kind of scum? I mean, what non-type sexual attraction to adults and children? Attraction to little girls. This to say. Every time I stop, every time I think about this, I just get nothing but anger in my bones. It does nothing but infuriate me to think that this guy is a prophet, is considered a prophet, and doing this to little girls is just absolutely an abomination. This is disgusting. And for Junior to sit here and try to defend it, Junior, and the thing with Junior, okay, Junior's hold on, I did something wrong here.
Ceases, pay attention to Junior so they can protect the Canadian children.
Say that again.
Ceases, watch Junior so he can protect the Canadian children.
Yeah. For somebody that's from the West to say something like that, I mean, growing up in the West, knowing what we do, having the ability and the freedom, because we have the freedom here in the West to say that, it's just for me, it's impossible. How can you be that stupid? And I say that with all sincerity. I don't mean that to be like a pejorative against Junior. You say, because the guys obviously have some type of talent. If you can rap or you can do something in music, you obviously have some type of a talent. But if you're saying that, since Aisha did not complain about being raped by Muhammad, having the marriage consummated by when she's 9 years old and she's professor, having a consummated marriage, you've lost your soul. You disconnected your ability as a human being, where God has written his law on our hearts. You have disconnected that. This is why I've always said that I believe Muslims are spiritually blinded, demonically inspired people. You have to disconnect that law that God has written on our hearts in order to justify what Muhammad did to this little girl. You cannot have that ability to differentiate between right and wrong and still believe that Muhammad was a prophet. You just can't. And to sit there and provide an excuse on a live stream, if you talk about this in the mosque, okay, fine. Go ahead and talk about it in the mosque. Okay, well, he was okay. We didn't need it. Okay, fine. Amongst your fellow demonically inspired, blinded, spiritually blinded people, go ahead. But to come on a live stream and try to tell people that this is okay behavior, that it's an example, is sunnah for people to follow, that they can follow this.
Oh,
Brad,
Daniel Pikachu did it, so I guess he's
this is
just
true.
trying to
But look
follow
what look what people think of Daniel Pikachu too. Brad has told me about this. Brad, have you not told me about my anger
Yes,
on the live
yes,
stream? Okay,
yes.
I'm pulling it back and I'm putting
Channeling
it
back.
back. No
Yes,
pounding
yes,
the desk. I can't do that anymore.
yes,
Brad told me that you got to be a happy guy, Eric.
yes.
You can't
We're,
be.
we're laughing at them. Yes,
Yeah,
because they're funny.
yeah.
Because it's really freaking funny. Yes. Okay. We got any more of this guy? Any
Let
more
me see here.
stupid crap?
Let me bring it back up. Let me look there. Look there.
You just called a prophet of God a rapist.
You just called the prophet of God a rapist. Oh my God!
No,
Well,
we
maybe
didn't.
he's not a prophet of God. Have you ever thought about that for a second?
We call the pedophile. We call the pedophile rapist a pedophile rapist because he's not a prophet of God. But anyway.
But
This
if he's a pedophile, then he's a pedophile. What am I supposed to say?
You are accusing him of that, and you're going to stand in front of God on Judgment Day unless you repent.
Are you kidding me? Listen to this guy. You can't say that about Muhammad. You can't call him a pedophile. Didn't we just go through the definition of what a pedophile is? And we
Okay, let's make this simple. Is he saying Muhammad is Allah? Because if that's what he's saying, Allah is a sock puppet.
that's exactly what he is. You're right. That's exactly right. He is nothing but a sock puppet. I mean, let's just take a look. Let's just take a look here and see if this is true. This is true. Did Muhammad do this to a little girl? Okay, well, Sahih Bukhari. Hold on, let me get my laser pointer. Sahih Bukhari, Sahih, trusted, consummated his marriage when she was 9. And this is narrated by Aisha. Were you there? Well, Aisha was there. Sahih Bukhari. I used to play with dolls in the presence of the Prophet. And then it goes down here when we look at Al-Tabari, what he says the playing with dolls and similar images is forbidden, but is allowed for Aisha at this time as she was a little girl, not reached the age of puberty. Oh, geez. Muslim, Sahih Muslim, narrated Aisha. I was 9 years old when I was admitted to his house. Aisha reported, I was the bride when she was 9 years and her dolls were with her. And the Prophet died when she was 18. Well, he lived with her for 9 years. Aisha was 9. 9 plus 9 is
18.
yeah, 18. It's 18. So therefore, the math even works out here.
Amazingly, and it's Islamic.
Well, the reason why I did that is because Muslims say, well, no, the narrations say that she was 18. Look at right there. She says she was 18. No, it says that he died when she was 18, you idiot. Reading comprehension. Sunan Abu Dawood, Aisha said, I was 9 years old. He had intercourse with me when I was 9 years old. I was 9, according to Al-Nasai. Let's see, consummated the marriage with me when I was 9. Narrated by Aisha. Aisha said, I was 9 and lived with him for 9 years. Boy, even some of these hadiths from one narrator to another narrator or another compiler to another compiler, they seem to match up for some strange reason. Imagine that. Let's see. It was narrated Aisha. She was 9 and he died when she was 18. Mathai, Sunan Ibn Majah, Abdullah said the Prophet married Aisha when she was 7. Okay, that's a difference because we think she was 6, but she was 7, all right. With her, let's see, consummated the marriage when she was 9 and passed away when she was 18. That's all pretty consistent. And then when we look at Tabari here, Tabari says that if you have Sahih al-Bukhari, that if it is Sahih, you got a 99 to 100% chance that the hadith is accurate. And even if it's Da'if, you still have between a 45 to 85% chance that it's accurate. These narrations are all Sahih, all of them. So even using their standards, where are you going with this, Junior? Al-Asqani says the same thing. The plane, let's see. I used to play with dolls. There was one in here. He says is not yet reached the age of puberty. Let's see. My marriage was, El-Tabari says that there's no, married me when I was 9. The marriage was consummated when I was 9. Then you have over here in the Sirah, it says that she was 9. Oh, wait. Maybe she was 10. We don't know. Let's see here. And then there's justification for this in the Quran. And this is why I say we know this is not from Allah, this is from Muhammad, because only some type of disgusting pig would say something like this. The God of the universe would not, saying those who have not menstruated, you can marry, consummate the marriage, and divorce them before they've had their first period. And then when we look at the tafsir even say the same thing. Ibn Kathir, Ibn Abbas, Al-Jalalain, all saying that these are young girls. And then when you get to Al-Tabari goes on to say that, let me see here, Ibn Kathir is not disputed. Here it is, Ibn Kathir. He contracted marriage when Aisha was 6, thereafter consummating the marriage when she was 9, is not disputed by anyone and is well established in Sahih collections. So he was a scumbag. You can, Muslims can say all they want. Look at Ed is in the chat. Don't bring me down. Don't bring me down. ELO. Yep, I got it, brother. Yep, that's the come of the show. That's all we're doing, bringing you down into the sewer with the Quran, Allah, and Muhammad. And I apologize for that. Okay, do we want to listen to any more of this debate? Any of you guys? Anything else that we need to know?
We could go straight into Minneapolis and get a good laugh.
Okay, yeah, all right, let's go ahead and change directions here. And we're going to talk about Indianapolis. Not Indianapolis.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. You know, one thing I didn't know, this year I'm teaching a new subject, well, it's history, of course, but I'm teaching early civilizations. And we're going through Greek civilization right now, as a matter of fact. And one thing that I didn't realize is that the word polis,
City-state.
means city-state. Yeah, I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me that, Paul? I didn't realize that.
Ninth grade level.
Okay, well, there you go.
Taught it for too many years.
So you were talking about Indianapolis, Annapolis, and now we're talking about Minneapolis. So I'm going to defer to Rad on this. Rad, are you there? Rad could probably give us the most accurate description of what happened, but he might be out shoveling his driveway again.
No, I'm here. No, I'm done shoveling the driveway. We got ice coming in, but that's beside the point.
Okay.
No. So basically, what has happened so far is that ICE has doubled, well, actually, I don't know if it's true. It needs to be true, but it is rumored that Trump is going to change the name of ICE to NICE, the National.
I've heard this, yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be cool. So it's going to be National Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So that means every time the CNN and MSNBC say NICE, or talk about ICE agents, they have to say the NICE agents.
The NICE agents, yes.
Yeah,
the NICE agent, the NICE agency.
Yes. I think he really needs to do that. But basically, Minneapolis is in full-blown rebellion as far as I'm concerned. I mean, so what you've got going on now is you've got the governor actually calling on people to literally go out and, well, he says peacefully protest, but then he calls, seriously, he's calling ICE. He actually said in his latest press conference, we can't call them law enforcement anymore. They're just thugs. They're Gestapo.
Well, let me touch on what you just said about what Waltz is proposing here. Because he said, I want you to go out and document the videotape what they're doing. And he specifically said, not for posterity's sake, but for future prosecution. Meaning that in the future, what they plan to do, once they come into power, they want to actually go in and prosecute ICE agents for
doing their job.
Right, for doing their job, for going out and executing these warrants on these illegal aliens. Now, the problem isn't whether or not they would get a conviction, because I'm confident that, because you only have to have one person say, no, you're an idiot. That's pretty much.
There's no conviction because they've already, by the time these ICE agents have already been sent, the warrants have already been signed for deportation. So that's why the ICE agents are sent. They've already got deportation orders. They've been convicted of a crime. They've already been given the deportation order. That's why they're getting picked up. They're not getting another hearing. I mean, this was signed into law, I believe, by Clinton. And it was either Clinton and Obama, I think, changed the timeline and raced it a little faster.
Obama wanted to enforce it. In order to get elected, Obama was talking about actually enforcing.
But Clinton wrote the law on this. That's the thing.
Right.
I mean,
No. Seriously. No. Democrats up until Trump were 100% on border enforcement. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. No. They uncovered this CNN piece where they went and they did a ride along with ICE in Chicago in 2015. And they were praising what a good job ICE was doing. ICE even arrested the wrong person, but CNN still praised them and saying, but it all worked out. They were very professional in the way they treated the American citizen and blah blah blah. And he's good to go and all hugs and kisses, whatever. Very professional. All of a sudden, Trump runs on enforcing the border. Actually, no, he didn't. It wasn't. So he's elected. Now hold on. Well, no, he ran on the supposed Muslim ban. Remember that? That was when ICE was killing everybody, or not ICE. ISIS was killing everybody, and they were having people every week it was, or at least once a month. The Muslims or ISIS Muslims were renting U-Haul trucks and running into large crowds all over Europe. Okay, this was like a weekly event that was going on, and not only that, but they were coming over here and they were doing hits, or they were getting caught. Trying to, conspire to do mass killings. So he's like, we're just going to ban these people. From these countries where they come from.
I will say that it's still going on.
Right. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The point that I was trying to drive home here is that doing that to ICE agents will start a civil war.
Well, that's the thing. That's what they want.
Well, and there you go. That's what they'll get at. Because I, for one, am not going to allow somebody to try to go back and prosecute law enforcement agents for doing their duty just because you don't like it. If anybody needs to go to jail in this case, is that piece of garbage that what do you call them people, that stolen valor piece of garbage governor, Tim Walz. That's the person that needs to be in jail. That's the person who needs to be prosecuted now, not in the future. Now, all this garbage about we got to document. Shut up. Number one, he's a pussy. I'm sorry for being so.
And Ilhan Omar, put them both in jail at the same time. I'll be happy.
Well, that leads me to the other thing. Trump is failing. He is failing miserably in this. This woman, she's a meme now. This Pam Bondi, she literally is a meme now. I remember when dude, like literally everybody's screaming, watch this, Pam Bondi's going to be on Fox News today, and she's going to say that she's issued a strongly worded letter to, no, everybody's talking about this. What does she do? She goes on Fox News and said, I have issued a strongly worded letter to the governor of Minnesota. And they're like, okay, well, what's this going to do? Well, I can't talk about that if there are any consequences, but all options are on the table. I'm like, dude, you say this every time and nothing gets done. No, but look what Don Lemon did. Okay? They went in and they filmed themselves committing a crime. They invaded a church, interrupted the service, chased women and children crying out of the service, yelling at them. Not only did they do this, but then the next day they made videos and did live streams bragging about how they did it. And there was nothing wrong with what they did. Then not only did they do that, they then went on and live streamed about come and get me, Pam Bondi. Okay? And
well, she arrested that guy, that one guy that had that F.
No, right. But here's the thing: they were let out, and by the way, the serious charges were dropped, were automatically dismissed by the magistrate judge, saying there's no evidence for this.
Okay, now let's talk about that magistrate real quick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this magistrate is the wife of
husband.
Is the spouse of somebody that's on Keith Ellison, who's a Muslim, by the way, he's a Muslim, the Attorney General for the state of Minnesota. So just because
conflict of interest.
Okay, just because the charges are dismissed at that level does not mean that she's not going forward.
But here's
they're going forward with these charges, and they realize that they need to and they have to.
Here's the thing. Well, let me finish on this. So she could not even indict the guy that was filming all this, Don Lemon. Okay? The other three, they were released
She's going to get the indictment. She's going to get the indictment.
Well,
She just has to go a different route. She's going to get the indictment.
They should have went that route. Well, here's what I want to get to.
I don't care if he was acting as a journalist or not. You're in the church.
He was not acting as a journalist. He's not acting as a journalist.
I don't care.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
Rand, I see this as a plan. You get everybody. If you get the idiots who come out of the woodwork to defend and they call themselves judges or magistrates, you can clear them all out because they did not disclose their conflict of interest required by law in their position, required in their job, so they can get them all. Okay. This is part of the way to look at it.
All right, yeah, that is part of the way to look at it, although I'm done looking at it that way because it's failed in every editor. Let me continue on. Let me please compete this. I'm trying not to get angry here, but I'm really angry at this woman. Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, the judge should have recused himself. The case should have been gone, but here's the deal. They should have asked that he be recused. They should have known all this. It came out later that they figured this out later. Somebody else on the internet figured it out for them. They didn't figure this out. Somebody on the internet, a citizen journalist, figured this out for them. Okay, but that's beside the point. The real issue is here. It never should have went to these judges in the first place. It should have went to a friendly judge that would issue the warrants and get the arrest. Now here on Megyn Kelly's show, which although I really have problems with her over the Candace Owens thing nonsense. But I still listen to her from time to time, especially when she has A.G. Hammy Dillon or whatever her name is, okay? Who is actually the Attorney General. She's Assistant Attorney General. She's actually the one that's working on this, right? Well, she goes on Megyn Kelly's show. She's like, well, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to go judge shopping like the other side does? Well, that's unethical, and I'm not going to do that. You freaking moron. If you're not willing to do what the other side does because it hurts your ethical sensibilities, that's why we lose. What I'm telling you is this. The other side has no problem. Look at all the judges in the cases against Trump in New York. It's supposed to be a lottery, right? Well, guess what? All of a sudden, mysteriously, all the cases against Trump, okay, went to the same judge. How does that happen? No, it was rigged. So until we start rigging it in our favor, I'm sorry. we're going to keep getting these bogus judges, and they're just going to keep throwing this stuff out. Or we need to do what Millie, whatever his name is, from El Salvador did, and arrest all these frickin' judges. But we can't do that because that would be wrong, and it would offend our ethical sensibilities. We can't do that because they're not going to do that. Okay? Either way, they're losing in Minneapolis. And here's another thing I want to point out. They're not reacting the way they did in 2020. I'm sorry, how long has it been, dudes? It's been, 3 weeks now of these riots? They're not riots? Of these protests that, are actually kind of just looking more like, I've been watching the feeds. It's looking more like basically a tailgate party at a Vikings and Bears game. They got cookouts. They're having a good time. They're chanting slogans, whatever.
I agree. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
They're not burning down the city this time.
Right.
So what's
that
deal? Well, that's the thing. The media wants there to be riots so they can go ahead and film it. They want their news. That's
but they're not doing that.
They're not doing that. They're out there.
They're smarter.
Bunch of pissed off little college kids.
But
that
no,
didn't learn
that's one way of looking
properly while they're in school.
Okay, that's one way of looking at it, but no, it's more sinister than that. They've learned. Well, there's two reasons by this, or should I think? Reason number one is, first of all, these are mostly white people. Sorry, don't mean to sound racist, but it's true. The white people are not going to burn down the bookstores, okay, over 2 white people dying. Sorry, not going to happen. The BML types, they're all like, all the black people, I've seen interviews like, we're not going out there. It's like 10 degrees below zero, and we're not going to go out and riot and burn down a liquor store for this guy. Besides, we don't like the immigrants anyway. No, literally, the BLM people are staying home. They're trying to get them engaged, but it ain't working. They're like, screw that, okay? So that's point number one. But point number two, they've learned. Because that's what Trump is actually waiting for. Once they start burning down buildings and doing that stuff, then he can invoke the Insurrection Act. And no one would have a problem with that. But they're not doing that. Instead, they're... Go ahead. Wait, let me finish. Instead, they're sending in they're ramping up this rhetoric.
Did we lose Brad, or is this me? Did we lose Brad? Okay, I'm farting. Okay, I can hear you now. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Well, hold on. You're breaking up. Is he breaking up, Paul?
All right, let me drop
the mic. Breaking up, or is it me?
He just came back.
Okay. Brad, are you there?
Oh, he dropped.
He dropped. I see him.
He's physically in the box, but we're not hearing him.
All right, Brad, come. Hold on. Let me send him a message and tell him to go out and come back in.
I think we're waiting to see.
Okay, that was Issa. Issa, you need to mute yourself, brother.
That's the.
There, I muted him. Okay, where did Rad go? For some reason, the whole thing just shut down on me. My fault.
That was weird.
Yeah. Okay. That was my fault. Let me.
Well, is there an issue?
Yeah, there was something wrong here.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened.
Oh, you sounded like you were talking to somebody from Hanoi or something. What are you, some communist agent now, or what?
No. Just multitasking, doing like a billion things at once. Yeah.
Okay. Rad was making a point on, and I was writing it down and then he fell out. It says issue. What was he talking about, Paul?
Oh, he's talking about they're not having the civil unrest that the left really wants. They're not, because Trump will invoke the Insurrection Act.
Oh yeah, the Insurrection Act. Okay, because he said they're waiting to burn down them to start burning stuff down in order to.
Well, what they have been doing is shooting fireworks at the police. So will that?
Well, if they shoot them at the police, that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying that's not fine, but that's the Minneapolis police. Let them shoot at the Minneapolis.
No. I'm saying it's law enforcement, period. So it's ICE, it's federal agents, it's whatever. If it's National Guard, whatever. That's still an act of violence against law enforcement.
Okay, Rad is back. Are you there, Rad?
We're waiting for the voice. Yeah.
Can you hear him? There we go. Hello, very late. Oh, up the cigarette here. Rad, you're still coming in broken up, brother. I don't know what you're doing here. This is frustrating. You're going to need. Okay.
Yeah, I guess he jumped.
All right.
out.
Here's the point that I want to make, and I'll restate it when he gets back. Is that this insurrection act that everybody keeps talking about that Trump wants to issue? I believe that he has more than enough grounds right now to issue that.
Yes.
If he wants to, but that's not his style. He's going to wait until, and I hate to say this, I admit this, but this is what's become. He is going to wait until a federal law enforcement officer is killed, and then he'll.
I don't think it's. I don't.
They're going to do it. I mean, they just bit the finger off of some poor dude already, and you have a guy bringing a gun to an arrest. It's going to happen. It's just a question of when. Now we can hear you, Rad.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that, dude. I was just getting really good into a radical rant, and it happened.
It's karma.
Yeah. Anyway.
But
But yeah,
Hindu
so
now or something, or you didn't?
pretty much, yeah. So basically, what did you hear when I left off on the rant?
You were talking. We were talking about the Insurrection Act. You were talking about the Insurrection Act.
All right. So yeah. So okay. I believe, and I seriously believe this. Well, there are two factors. I already explained the whole thing. The white dudes aren't going to burn down the bookstore, and the black people aren't coming out to for a bunch of white kids that got killed. Or dumb white people that got killed for the illegal aliens who they don't like anyway. So whatever. So 10 degrees below zero, not happening. But what they are really looking for, okay, dude, okay. So if they get another George Floyd incident, oh yeah, then the whole thing's going to combine. But I really think that they're in control of this. They're literally, honestly. They've tuned up the rhetoric extreme, okay, but at the same time they're still in control of saying no violence, do not attack, do not burn stuff. Like there was an instance where they started a fire initially, okay, outside when that new latest idiot got killed. They started to burn some stuff, some trash can stuff, but they quickly shut that down. In other words, the organizers went in there, shut it down, told them not to do that. And if you look at the Signal chats, oh, that's another thing. Do you guys know about the Signal chats?
Yeah, I haven't heard about.
So Signal the app? Oh, dude. So Signal, they have these groups. Hold on, I'm gonna let the stupid cat out.
Well, I use Signal. I haven't heard what they were putting in Signal. He's got to put the cat down.
Put the cat outside. I'm gonna put poor Kitty out in that cold with all that snow. Come on. One thing that I wanted to point out about Minneapolis was, do you all remember? Have any of you all been to the Mall of America in Minneapolis before?
I haven't.
No, I haven't, but I've seen video of it now. It's
okay,
Mogadishu.
Yeah, I saw an Instagram video. I'm not sure if I sent it to my email. Let me see if I sent it to my email. This is just the difference between now. I mean, what it does is it compares the Mall of America's now with videotape of what people do in it versus what it was like
Okay, well,
in
Eric does
1994 when it opened up. It's just crazy. It's like a big Somalian hellhole.
Well, while Eric does that, I just want to explain something. First of all, I was not throwing the cat outside in the cold. The cat was begging me to go out. The cat was begging me to go outside in the cold because it likes to go out and hunt and kill. And there was something that was bugging him because he was getting all antsy, jumping up and down by the windows and stuff. Something that he wanted to go out and investigate and kill, and hopefully not bring home because like he usually does. But that's beside the point. Anyway, yeah. So I seriously believe. Okay, the signal chats. This is what I want to get. So this Cam Higbee and this other dude, they infiltrated the signal chats that these protesters, organizers, and stuff were using. Dude, they've been in there for days. Unfortunately, they did out themselves for the story. I think they should have still remained undercover for a while. But evidently, they found the one of the admins of these signal groups that are leading, the protesters to. No, they text each other. You know what I mean? We're on this we're on this street corner. There's ICE agents here. Run the license plates. And evidently, I can hear you, Eric. Can you pause? Can you mute whatever you're playing? Somebody's playing something. You're playing something.
I can't hear anything. There's nothing. I can't hear anything. We're only hearing your background.
It must be Issa. I'm here. Can you mute Issa, please? Oh, he's playing something. Anyway.
No one's playing anything.
So we got that crossover again. But anyway, so anyway, so they're actually having people run plates. Now, are they running the plates? Okay, do they have people in law enforcement or in dispatch, which it looks like they do, that are actually using state resources to run the license plates? Okay, to see if they come back. Okay, as ICE or rental, whatever. Okay, but either way, one of the admins is a lieutenant governor. The lieutenant governor in these signal chats is actually directing this. Not only that, but there's also ties to. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Of what state?
Minnesota. Governor
He got nailed.
No Balls,
He got nailed by the kid too, because they called that number and it went to the governor's.
So all this stuff is being coordinated. There are actual dispatchers, or maybe even PD in Minnesota PD, who are running plates. It's upper echelons, including the lieutenant governor, who are in the signal chat, running it all. Not only that, but there's also this major organizer that worked for Mayor Frey or Slowboy Frey.
Well, there's supposed to be more coming out. James O'Keefe was there, and he was there during the shooting of the last person. And they're going to do a big video on Tuesday. So they're going to drop a video on Tuesday. O'Keefe.
Who is James O'Keefe is?
Yes.
Well, there's another thing. So let me comment on that. I want to comment on that. This one is actually, I do have problems with this shooting. I mean, the dude was a useful idiot. He was there.
You're breaking up again, Brad. You're breaking up.
Looks like I got internet problems from the cold. Yeah, looks like I got internet problems from the cold. It should be coming back now.
And who was the one that's accusing me of not wanting to do a show today? Oh, you got some ice and some snow. And now, what is this?
Dude, I'm
okay.
Someone's breaking up.
I'm back on air steady. Okay, but anyway, real quick before I cut out,
to go back. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, like I said, I got problems with this one.
No. There we go. Now you're back up.
Yeah. I got problems with this one. This was a total useful idiot. I thought he was wearing a tactical vest. It wasn't. It just kind of looked like it. But he was out there. He was actually part of the signals group as well. And he was out there just being a major pain in the ass, blowing a whistle. Then you go out there, I'm only filming, I'm a legal observer, and he's like directing traffic while they interrupt ICE. While ICE was trying to arrest, let me pull that up here. Here's what ICE was trying to arrest. I can't bring it up, but they were basically trying to arrest an illegal alien from El Salvador, Ecuador, who had beat up his wife and child, or her child, severely, and who also had multiple DUIs and had a deportation order. This is who he died for. Okay? This is who they were trying to arrest. okay? And he's an idiot, okay? And it looks like he had that Sig Sauer, the one that has the United States Army is no longer using it anymore. Actually, United States military, they got rid of it. The Sig Sauer, what they call it, the P, Eric, what is it called? The P, whatever, the sidearm. You know what I'm talking about, right? Eric, you there?
Well, I'm saying the last one is the Beretta.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, the new one, the Sig Sauer, it's a P something they call it. Well, anyway, it will just go off. Sitting on a desk, it will just go off. Okay.
I heard about that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they disarmed the guy. They yelled "gun, gun, gun!" So officer drew his weapon. The other officer removed the weapon, which he was struggling with. He was struggling trying to keep them from getting a hold of his gun. They removed the weapon, and then it went off and it discharged. And that was it. You're done, dude, at that point. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. It's you know.
Okay,
you got all these people.
As they're removing the gun from this pretty guy, this, what's his name? Pretty.
Yeah, Pretty, yeah.
Alex Pretty, okay. As they're removing his gun, it goes off.
Right, so actually, no, they did remove it, okay? And the cop that removed it was walking away with it in his hand, and it went off. And he was actually shocked when it went off, and all of a sudden he looked, turns back, and he just kind of kept walking, and that's when all the other cops opened up. Now remind you,
shooting him. Okay, all right, I see now.
Now remind you, they're in a scrum. You can't see what's going on. Plus, these dudes are from like Texas. They're not used to like 20 below zero, which it was. Okay, you know what I mean? Not only that, but you got all these idiots. You can listen to sound. They're all blowing these stupid freaking whistles and screaming at them. You know what I mean?
I say wait for because this is where James O'Keefe has the video of the entire.
Right.
He was actually physically there. So he had two other. He said he had two other people who were still undercover. Now this was today. He was saying this, so wait and see.
Okay, so in other words, that this guy did not make a move for his weapon. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying if this idiot wasn't there, I'm saying first of all, if this idiot wasn't there, period, he would be alive today. If this idiot wasn't there with a gun, he would be alive today. If this idiot was there even with a gun and followed ICE orders, okay, or actually it was border control orders, okay, to get out of the middle of the frickin' street, he would still be alive today. If this idiot, okay, after being pepper sprayed, would have just been like, okay, I'm getting on the ground, dude, leave me alone, he would still be alive today. Right. If this idiot would not have struggled with the officers while they were trying to get the gun out of his waist belt, he would be alive today. If, again, this idiot would not have a weapon that was prone to malfunction and fire off just randomly, just you touching it, or not even touching it, just sitting on a desk, he would be alive today. I'm saying either way, it boils down to this. I'm sorry, he was a useful idiot, and it's a shame. This is a terrible loss. He was a registered RN nurse, ICU nurse, volunteered at the VA hospital. Okay?
No, I thought he was employed by the VA.
No, he volunteered. Well, he might. Maybe he was. Maybe he was I thought well, either way, he somehow associated at the VA hospital, but it was an ICU nurse, which is the highest level of nursing, except for life flight nursing. You know what I mean? Okay, highest paid ranking, schooling wise. But yeah, dude. I mean, no, this is a tragedy. It should, and it was all because of Tim No Balls Walls and Mayor Soy Boy Fry. Which, by the way, did you know that mayor of Minneapolis, he's actually married to a woman? To a woman! I know. I'm shocked.
Okay, so is Emmanuel Macron. So that's
right. Okay. Well, either way, I'm just saying I was shocked at that. That's like a news story. But anyway, no, this is a horrible, horrible thing. But this is what they wanted. They wanted this. They were provoking this because they knew. Oh, by the way, evidently the dude, he was married and his wife divorced him because he got totally brainwashed and he swallowed the blue pill. And, you know, she's like, I can't deal with you. And his parents, evidently, they were like, yeah, something's wrong with him. You know what I mean? No, it's a tragedy. But either way, parents lost a son, dude. A high-performing son. You know what I mean? Okay, no, it's a total tragedy. Should not have happened.
What? none of this, and I think you hit on it. None of it would have happened. None of it would have been possible if, first of all, Waltz wouldn't have run his mouth.
Exactly.
Go out and get evidence. What's this guy doing? He's out there. Well, he's following the direction of the governor of the state, after all, don't you see? Second thing is, this clown, this VA nurse, okay, let's just, I give him credit for serving there. Because I've been to the VA several times, and I love the people there. They're great people. But this clown, this is what he is, decides to take a gun to a protest. I don't know what you're doing, Brad, but it sounds like you're prepping some Alka-Seltzer or something. I don't know what you're doing.
Crackle, crackle, crackle.
Either that or eating some Doritos.
I just emptied a water bottle and I crunched it, but go ahead.
Okay, all right. Okay, so he brought a gun to a protest. No. You just don't do that. I don't care what the protest is about. You do not bring a gun to a protest where you could, if there's even a remote possibility, be interacting with law enforcement. You just don't do it. I conceal carry.
I just want to point out that on January 6th, there were literally about 1 million people there that were conservatives. None of them had a gun.
And
not one gun.
Right. And so you don't need a gun at a protest like that. You're absolutely. That's a great point. Yeah. Well, you can't have one.
They were shot at by DC people who wanted them to fight. But yeah.
Well, you can't have a gun. You can't have a handgun in Washington D.C. You can't. I don't even think you can have one at home. That was that Heller case was all about that said that you finally can't have a gun at home. But anyway, the fact is that you just don't bring a gun to a protest. You don't most certainly bring a gun to an event where the likelihood of you interacting, the purpose of you going is to interact and with law enforcement. You don't bring a gun to that. And so the fact that this guy was shot and killed because he had a gun with him, and I don't want to say that I don't care if they shot indiscriminately or if this was a justified shooting. I do care about. I honestly do care about that, because you want all shootings to, of course, you want all shootings like that to be justified. But there's crap that you can do to prevent your ass from getting shot. I'm reminded of that. Who is that comedian that talks about? It's a funny. It's Chris somebody. He got slapped by Will Smith.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. Yeah, he said, "Do these things and you won't get your ass kicked by police. Don't play your music really loud. Don't bring a mad girlfriend at you because she'll accuse you of having weed. Don't bring a friend that's got a big, don't do these things or the police are going to kick your ass."
Yeah, I remember that. That was a good stand.
Yeah, it was hilarious. But it's so true. You don't do these things because if you do, you're going to get scuffed up by the cops.
You know what? That's a suggestion. Hey, Minnesota Lieutenant Governor, please play that routine for your people.
You might get your ass kicked if you do that. And this is what this guy did. You F around and you find out. And this is what this and it's I don't want to say it. I don't want to minimize him getting shot and killed at all. I don't want to, it's a human life.
Well, that's.
But dude, I want to say this. I will say this. You brought it on yourself. You crossed that line. You brought that gun. You knew you were going to interact with police officers. You knew you shouldn't have had it, and you did. And look what happened.
I agree. Oh no, I agree with that. But look at but here's nothing. They actually think they're like playing a game. It's like a video game. Okay. Look at the one woman, the wife of the other one, the good one. By the way, if you want to like pull up that meme that I shared with you guys, that was kind of funny. I gotta tell a joke. So what's your chance of getting shot by ICE. If you follow.
Hold on, let me get it up. Hold on.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway.
Don't tell it. Don't
All
tell
right.
it.
But anyway, if you think about this, okay, the one woman, the wife of that one Renee Good that got shot, literally yelled at the ICE agents, "Why did you use real bullets?" They honestly think this is a game. This is like they're in a video game where they're like, no, they're totally disconnected from reality. And they think that they're superheroes. And they think they're doing this good thing by protecting people that they would not want as their neighbors.
Okay,
you know what
Brad,
I mean?
Brad, you can tell the joke now.
Okay.
This
So-
is, and it's kind of a sick, kind of funny
Yeah,
kind of
so
type of humor my dad has. But go ahead.
So here's the question: what are your chances of getting shot by ICE if you follow Governor Tim Walz or Mayor Fry's directions?
Say it again. Say it again.
What are your chances of getting shot by ICE if you follow Governor Tim Walz or Mayor Fry's directions? What are your chances? Go ahead, pull it up. Going up. I don't see it. Well, I don't see it, but I know it is. But that's funny. Is that funny or what?
It's so wrong. It is so wrong. But it's
Now we need somebody with the name of Damn to get shot. Then it'll be pretty damn good. You know. I know I'm evil that way. I'm definitely going out for that one. But yeah.
All right, that is funny. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's
yeah. He was a pretty boy.
Both, but you know, the thing is, when you're sitting at it from my perspective is okay. These guys are nothing but agitators. All they want to do is overthrow the United States government. And let's be real and call it what it is. These people are nothing. People who want nothing but to foment hatred towards our government to replace it with a communist or a socialist form of government. That's their goal. They won't admit it, but that's their goal. It's like Muslims won't say that they want to replace our country with the Sharia. In order to do that, you have to foment this type of hatred. And when these people are out, I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought completely on this.
When they're out protesting, rioting, whatever.
Rioting, right.
Oh yeah, don't bring it down.
It was, but it what their end goal is the overthrow of our government. And by doing this type of activity and encouraging other people to do it, this is what's going to happen. And they want our side. Oh, I was talking about from my perspective. My perspective is that that in order to defeat this ideology, a level of force is going to be needed, because these people are exceeding what is the law today. They're showing up with gas masks, for God's sake. They're getting in the face of these ICE agents, obstructing justice. They're begging to be prosecuted. Okay, fine, give them a prosecution. When they do these type of things, and they agitate, they're asking us for our side to overreact, and they're going to use that overreaction as a means of advancing their perspective and their point of view. So it is entirely our responsibility to not overreact. The desire to go into that crowd and just start wailing on you. I mean, that's what, and the thing is, a lot of these kids, they don't know any better. I mean, look, they've made this big deal out of these women, these women who are gay and lesbians. And the reason why they're gay and lesbians is because let's just be honest, they're not all that in a bag of chips when it comes to look. And they have this desire to nurture you. You don't have this motherly. You don't have that motherly, that innate feeling that you have to nurture somebody with children. So they have to nurture something else, and that's what they're doing. They're grasping on to this idea of of illegal immigrants, and they have to nurture these people, or they feel the responsibility to do that. Don't overreact. Don't give in to their rhetoric. Don't give in to their violence, even though every fiber of my being wants to. You can't, because that's exactly what they want. This is a great comment.
Okay. Dark humor exists for a reason. I have the darkest of dark humor. I get called out an X all the time. I'm a pig. I'm a monster. How dare I say these things? But anyway, nobody's hearing Issa, who is not muted, type away, cough away. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Can you hear him?
I'm not hearing anything.
Well,
Can you hear him?
Man. Okay.
Rad,
Anyway,
I
I'm just
swear,
You're hearing something.
Away.
We're hearing a laundry room is what we're hearing.
Not hearing a laundry room. Okay, hold on. Why don't you guys say
I don't know what that.
I gotta switch over to a different mic. Hold on. Hold on. See, this is why we need to go back to StreamYard, because this software sucks. It doesn't. I can't.
Do you use StreamYard, Paul?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I need.
I prefer StreamYard too. I prefer StreamYard also.
How much do you pay for that?
Let me talk to somebody, and we can.
Yeah.
You and I can talk offline, and I'll talk to the other person.
Well,
okay.
Anyway,
I know who you're talking about, but yeah.
How am I sounding now? Am I sounding any better? Because I want to read this.
You sound a lot better. You look a lot better too.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. But here's the deal. I forgot I had to close out my browser for all this wonderful stuff. But here's the deal. Okay, so either Trump needs to do the Insurrection Act. I'm sorry, Minnesota is in full blown rebellion. Pam Bondi is sending her stern warnings. They're mocking her on the stern warnings now. Literally, Waltz just said, he's like, yeah, I received your letter. It was a joke. We just threw it in the garbage can. Where there's nothing there. Well, no, the one that she went on Fox News just recently. I'm issuing a stern warning.
They issued subpoenas for all these guys.
Yeah,
Ellison, Waltz, they've been subpoenaed. Brad, it's a process. Give her some time, for God's sake.
No, so there was the subpoenas, but then there was the stern warning, letter that came after the dude was shot, That, they're saying, we just threw that in the garbage. Nobody takes you serious. It's a joke. I mean, literally, he's saying words to that effect. She has, like, no respect for anybody. She is a complete... I'm sorry. Oh, no, her and her... There's going to be consequences if you keep that up, and all options are on the table. And I told them, you better knock that off. I mean, no, seriously, she says that every time she goes on Fox News. But anyway, so either Trump needs to do the Insurrection Act, or let me pull it up. I had it up here. This is what I'm promoting on X. I'm posting it everywhere. Let me see if I can find it.
Pretty good. Is that what you're posting on X?
Yeah, pretty much. I can't find it. It was really good too. Hold on. I think I shared what this did. So let me see if I can bring it up here. Okay. It's really annoying me. I had to close this out.
Now if you look at what Call Me Mom just posted in chat, de-escalate, no, disclose. Okay, where'd it go? Demonstrations, public carry is prohibited at protests and on state capitals. I'm assuming this is in Minnesota. A concealed carry permit holder involved in a physical altercation with law enforcement must immediately disclose their weapon's presence, follow the officer's command, keep his hands visible. Okay, so this is one of the things they teach you at your concealed carry class. If you get pulled over by a law enforcement officer, you are required, if you have your concealed carry weapon with you, within that within reach, you have to disclose to that officer. It is your responsibility to disclose to the officer that you have a permit and that you also have a weapon. So this
exactly,
absolutely.
Yeah, no, the dude failed. The dude failed in that respect. But here's another thing, really quickly on that. Evidently, the Minnesota state's attorneys, back in 2020, they filed. Well, actually, okay. I think it's actually against the law in Minnesota after the Kyle Rittenhouse thing for you to bring a weapon to a protest, to a mostly violent protest. Just saying, you can't do that. But no, they actually, a bunch of states attorneys in Democrat states filed motions or letters or something like that saying it's illegal in their states for you to bring a weapon, okay, a firearm, to a civil disobedience or a civil protest. But I can get you that. No, anyway, I finally found what I was looking for. So here's my thing, okay? This is my thing to Donald Trump. Please, Donald Trump, declare Minnesota a no-go federal zone. Pull out all federal offices. Okay, pull out all federal offices. Allow no more FBI and DEA investigations or cooperations with local law enforcement. In other words, no more access to all the databases the FBI has, all that fun, cool stuff. Nope, you're cut off. And deport all criminal illegal aliens that you get in other states to Minnesota. Cancel all federal contracts, grants, and loans.
Well, that's what Biden did. I mean, when he brought those people in,
yep,
all those people coming across the borders, you would see busload after busload after busload.
Yep.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buses
Going into red states.
Going into
Yep.
red states, do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, but I'm saying totally cut them off. Dude, no access to any federal resources. In other words, if someone robs a federal bank in Minneapolis, hey, good luck with that one, because we're not investigating it. Yeah, okay. If you got a mass serial killer that they need access to the FBI DNA database, sorry, can't do that. You guys are in total rebellion. Okay, hell, drop a nuke, scorch the earth. That's all I like that. Scorch the earth. Yes.
What would this do
insurance?
What would this do insurance-wise? Because that would
cancel. They would be screwed.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. I think if you start messing around, I don't know if that particular solution, but to make an announcement that they have said they don't want federal assistance for anything. Therefore, all federal funding is revoked.
Gone. Yep.
That would be enough. All access to federal, and if they want to be their own little country, that could be it.
Boom.
But that would allow states to secede, which is not part of our Constitution. Doesn't have a way for that to work. So that's
Well, here's the thing. You would say this is part of Reconstruction. You are part of you are part of a rebellion. Okay, you are an open sedition to the United States of America. Fine, we are going to cut you off, but we are not seceding any land to you. In other words, you people still got to pay your federal income taxes. Okay? Yeah. Sorry, you're screwed. Okay? All right? But no, cut them off. No. Here, think about this one. This is the obscenity of this. This is in Chicago, Illinois. It's probably the same in Minneapolis. But think about the obscenity of this. Local law enforcement cooperates with the FBI and DEA and ATF on numerous cases, okay, involving just bank robberies, kidnappings, child sex trafficking, smuggling drugs, you know what I mean? All kinds of stuff, illegal weapons, all kinds of stuff. Here's the deal, though. If the target of the DEA or FBI, investigation is an illegal alien, guess what? Chicago police cannot help or assist by law in Illinois and Chicago law. But if it's an American citizen, then they can assist. Do you see the obscenity of that? So that means cartels can just send in their illegal alien, and he can run the whole shebang. And even though they cannot cooperate, so fine. If you're going to go this level, you cannot select.
If they're doing that, that is actually a violation. That is actually the definition of sedition.
Exactly, but that's what they are doing. Okay, yeah. Think about it. No, you cannot selectively say. You cannot sit there and say, we're going to selectively cooperate with some federal law enforcement, but not the other law enforcement. Okay? It's all or nothing, and that's the way Trump needs to do that. So you should move to Chicago. Who said that? Yeah, no, you don't want to move here. Seriously. So you should move. Yeah, okay, no. Fine, no, you don't.
No, you're just saying he's not from the United States.
Okay, all right.
From the United States, he can do it.
Actually, this is what I told Jay. Well, anyway, I said, dude, during the Biden administration, you guys should just come over through Mexico, declare yourself refugees. You're gonna get $5,000 a piece. You're gonna be set up in all kinds of, you know what I mean? Okay, it's gonna be great for you guys. But unfortunately, he didn't do it. Anyway, or probably fortunately he didn't do it, because anyway, but that's beside the point. Anyway, but yeah, no, this is the obscenity of it. No, dude, okay. Invoke the Insurrection Act. What are you going to do? You're going to nationalize the National Guard. By the way, you know what Governor Walz has the National Guard doing in Minneapolis right now? They're handing out coffee and donuts to the protesters outside of their various chop zones that they've set up, and outside the federal courthouse. Yep, that's what they're.
And they're requiring them to wear reflector vests to differentiate themselves from ICE agents or federal.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd go to sick call. I'm not going. I'm sorry.
The general, okay, who's in charge of the Minnesota National Guard, said, let me make this clear. I am under the command of Governor Tim Walz, not Donald Trump. Again, open sedition. Oh. Well, it's true, but the way he said it, you know what I mean?
I think he's... Wow, that's...
Well, if I was Trump, here you have a general officer. I don't give a rat's ass if he's under the command. I mean, he was trained and paid by the United States Army. That's where the funds come from. He'd be done. His career is over. You're done. You're out.
He is. He's basically ended his career by saying that.
You're out.
Well, we'll see. But either way, no, it's getting bad. And the thing is, though, the Trump administration team, they're all going 2020 on this. It's not 2020, dude. They've learned. They've adapted. Okay? They're not going to burn down cities anymore. Okay? They're you know what I mean? It's different.
Well, why do you need to deploy the National Guard then? What's the listen?
There you go. Exactly, dude.
I will tell you. I do know one reason why they need to. It's because the police force in Minneapolis is 2/3 of what it was 5 years ago in 2020. The George Floyd riot decimated that police department. People said, "To hell with this. We're getting out," and they retired, quit, transferred, went someplace else where at least their services appreciated.
Oh, let me tell you another funny thing, and I'll send it back to you, Paul. Sorry, but here's another funny thing. Minneapolis, and they're praising this. Okay, we passed the 20-week paid family leave.
Right,
okay. Yeah. Well, hold on. No. I work for a large corporation or government or whatever. Okay, I think it excludes small businesses, but I don't know. But anyway, but it's mostly government. Okay, and large corporations. I go to the HR department, and it's top secret, hush hush. They can't tell you why. Okay, I go to the HR department. Yeah, I'm applying for paid family leave for 20 weeks because I've got a family emergency I've got to attend to. Okay, can't ask what the family emergency is. Can't say it's because my wife is pregnant, even though I don't have a wife. It doesn't matter. I just have to say, I have a family emergency I have to attend to for 20 weeks, and you have to pay me. Or I just have to attend to family matters for 20 weeks. You just have to pay me. Well, guess what happened? There are like over 20 Minneapolis police departments who have taken that 20 paid family weeks. Okay? And guess what they did? I think, the last count was 20. 18 of them are applying for ICE. So you're basically...
Really?
Yeah, so you're basically, okay, I'm taking the family leave, and I'm getting paid. But while I interview and go through the interview process, because that takes a month. You know what I mean? Okay, at best, 2 weeks to a month. Okay, I'm getting paid, whatever, and I'm going to join. I'm looking for another job at this point. Okay, well, you paid me to do this. This is the dumbest thing, and they brag about, we've got paid family leave guaranteed 20 weeks. You idiots. Anyway, go ahead, Paul.
That's got to be one of the dumbest policies. Now, I think that we just start. The problem is that the United States government has had a policy of not charging anyone with sedition when we're not in a war. That is a tradition in the United States government. They have, however, in the last 10 years, charged people with sedition. So it needs to be said over and over again. In fact, it was done this year. They need to go back and make it hugely public that rule is now thrown out. So within the last 10 years, they've started to charge people with sedition. It just needs to become more public. That should scare these idiots, these commie, fascist, Islamic whatevers, to let them know that rule is gone. That unwritten rule is gone. Once they realize this, and somebody, actually, this is where Pam Bondi, I think she needs to just start charging people like Tim Walz with sedition. And then arrest them. And then hold them. You don't release a person arrested for sedition, because if you release them, you're allowing them to commit more sedition, especially if they're in the role of governor.
I think there's a danger to that, because what you can do is you can turn him into a martyr also. You can make him a poster child for Donald Trump to reach.
I'm okay with arresting them if they want to become a martyr. We're not there. The difference is the conservatives aren't out to kill people. The Muslim and the commies might be out to kill someone. And yes, if they want a poster child for sedition, you post up what the charges are. We all know what they are these days. They're all very, very public. He's made these statements. He's purposely slowed governmental action. He has opposed federal action. Yes, were these nonviolent protests? Absolutely not. And this is, were they done to purposely slow governmental action? Absolutely. We're not talking about slowing local governments. This is a federal government action. Now, this is another reason they can't arrest Ilhan Omar. I still want to see them arrest her for illegal immigration issues.
I want to see her go to jail for her financial corruption. That's just incredible. How do you go from having nothing and then in just a couple of years to having $30 million being a congresswoman, for God's sake?
Well, you know what? She's getting paid off by the Somali fraudsters. She's probably the one making the arrangements.
You're right. Somebody that followed the money, honey. Somebody's got to be getting paid for all of this.
And that's another thing.
That's not hard to track when you have the resources that the federal government has. You can track that stuff.
Well, and that's another thing. Pam Bondi and the FBI, where are they on this? This is not rocket science. They should have already. I don't know. Okay, we can say.
Okay, Brad. The FBI. We have the murder rate in this country is the lowest it's been in the last 100 years. They're doing their flipping job. They can only do. You can't expect these people to do everything. A month ago, what was it? Where the hell are the Epstein files? We got to get the Epstein files. You didn't tell us they released the Epstein files. Now what's the next thing? Oh, well, you didn't put him in jail. You got to put him in jail. Dude.
Well, I don't want to hear anything on the Epstein files ever again. That was the biggest That was the biggest self-own. Okay, by Pam Bondi. You would be shocked at what is on my desk. It's on my desk right now. You would be shocked at what you heard. I'm gonna release them. And they had the what do you call it? The social influencers at the White House. Here you go. Here's the end. Oh God, biggest cell phone owner. Oh no, seriously, that was when I was like, okay, this woman's an idiot. Anyway, but that's beside the point. No. The thing is, dude. Well, to answer your question, how do you go from being poor to having $30 million in the bank, being in Congress? Well, the answer is you are in Congress. Okay? When you look at this, and I'm sorry,
insider trading. Insider trading.
Actually, no, it's not with her. It looks like mostly GMO stuff. Or government, what would you call it? NGO stuff.
NGOs, yeah.
Yeah, NGO stuff. Okay. But either way, the insider trading, the NGOs, all that stuff. All these people, they go into Congress. And dude, and it's Republicans too, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, our local Republican, he himself did the same thing, and then he quit midterm, and we just had a...
Because anyway. Well, what's her name? Well, the latest now, she's going to be on The View. You watch. Marjorie Taylor Greene or whatever.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden she was big in it, dude. She increased her shit. Okay. But all the time she would say, "I'm against insider trading." Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was raking in the dough. Okay. You got the woman senator. What's her name? Blackburn. She's big on it.
She's gonna be our governor. Hush now.
Yeah. She's big.
Stop.
She was
what
big
do you want,
on
Tim
it.
Walz? You probably. Yeah, no. We have J.B. Prisker as our governor.
Hey, at least he made his billions the old-fashioned way by being born into it. I'm just saying. But
I got some information on the Minneapolis Police Department here.
What is?
Okay, so within the program, medical family or the paid family and medical leave program took effect January 1st. The program is very recent. Reports mid-January note that about 2/3 of the applicants were already on leave by the end of the 2025, most reasons like pregnancy, newborn bonding, family care. Early estimates range from 60 to 80, but the figure has risen to over 100.
Wow.
According to updates. Now, this is the department that was staffed for 900, is down to 600, and now has this. And you're calling people in on no days off. You don't get your day off now. You got to come in. You got to stand out there in that freezing cold. I don't know. If I'm a cop in Minneapolis, I'd be saying, you guys.
See, that's another thing. Well, honestly, that'd be another thing. I mean, I would think, honestly, I'd be like, okay, yeah.
You're shivering.
Even though I'm in for law enforcement, I'm in for getting these criminals off of our streets. At the same time, doing this shit, I mean, wouldn't it like piss you off towards ICE? Wouldn't it be like, dude, if you guys would get your crap together, okay, I mean, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? So at the same time, okay, you know what I mean? It's pissing them off. Oh, by the way, the cold thing, dude. Like I said, I grew up in Chicago all my life. You grew up in, well, we can say this now, right? Iowa. Oh, shocking. Anyway, okay, but dude, it could be 20 degrees below zero, and if you're dressed for it, the biggest thing, your biggest concern is one, how do you go to the bathroom, and two, you can literally overheat. You'll be sweating, dude.
It just takes a little time because you got to tear all that stuff off.
Right, but I'm just saying, but you can overheat, dude. I mean, you know what I mean? Okay. That's kind of, but dude, you're used to it, you're acclimated to it. It's like no big deal, dude, and you know what you're doing. But did you see the pictures of some of these guys? They're getting frostbite now because they're not from Minnesota. Okay, they're out there and they're like,
okay, I want to add something about this family medical leave thing. This has been extended to U.S. Army soldiers, where you get 4 months off for bonding if you have a child.
And you're in combat.
Doesn't matter if you're deployed or not. You return from your deployment, you get 4 months off. Well, I'm not sure about a deployment because they're pretty tight on cohesion and stuff for deployments. But I mean, now there's not a lot of people deploying to begin with.
Right.
But even so, if this would have been in effect when I was in the Army, I'd have probably 10 kids. You get all that time off. The old queen would have been squirting out a kid every other year. We would have been having.
Well, no, dude, I'll tell you this, and you can probably testify to this. Okay, I know. Okay, well, I know my I guess, well, sister-in-law. Okay, she joined the Army during the Afghan thing, and she was getting deployed, and she was actually begging men to impregnate her, so she didn't have to get deployed. But I've heard like stories where all of a sudden you
Wait,
well,
your sister-in-law?
well, sister-in-law through my brother-in-law. So is that anything to
She
me?
was not the sister-in-law at that time, though.
Well, no. Okay, she's my brother-in-law's sister. So does that make her anything to me? Would that be still kind of a sister-in-law?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that makes sense.
I'm gonna have to bow out.
Okay.
Due to
All right. Wait. We need a plug for tomorrow. Go ahead.
All right.
All right. So here we go. Tomorrow I am discussing on my channel. Here we go. This topic. We're going to talk about enjoining good and forbidding evil. Wait till you find out what it's really about. This is Section Q in Reliance of the Traveler. It's kind of mind-numbing. I spent
part number
94. Yeah. 94. I've been doing this for about 3 years now. That's crazy.
Right.
And that's tomorrow. What time? And that's tomorrow. What time?
1 o'clock Eastern, because 1 o'clock Eastern.
Oh, Eastern.
Snow
okay,
day.
so 12.
Snow day.
12. Yeah, I got a snow day, so
Yeah.
I'm there.
All right, I can probably join. All right, cool.
All right, guys. So we're gonna. Look what time it is. All right, Paul. Thanks for coming, brother. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. God bless.
So, do you have anything to add, Brad? We need to get running.
Just to say, Democrats suck. And Tim Walz and Mayor Fry need to be in prison. But other than that, no, I got nothing else.
I agree. It's going to get. Unfortunately, it's going to get worse before it gets better. We know that. So just, pray for our country, pray for our leaders, and pray for those guys that are in ICE. They're going through. I mean, every day to have to subject yourself to that type of trash and disgusting behavior.
See, that's another thing. Are they being cycled out? I mean, are they getting time to, you know what I mean? Or are they just there for the? I don't think so. I hope that they're literally, like a week on, okay, and then they go home for a couple weeks.
Well, I'm not sure how
I mean?
I'm not sure how they work all that stuff out. I'm sure they're not, they're not all from Minnesota. They're being surged from different jurisdictions. So I'm sure they're doubling up.
But they're in combat.
You can't have too much rotation because you don't have any continuity there.
Right.
So
But no, they're literally in combat. They're literally like in the trenches of World War One. So I'm just the stress level, dude. You know what I mean? Especially you add on that cold.
There was a video this week where the ICE agent, it was just a young guy, and it was from one of the protesters was videotaping, and he's like, do you just realize you're out there honking your horn, and we're out here effecting the arrest of a child predator? You're protecting this. Do you realize that's what you're doing? And they, of course, they give some snarky reply to it, but just the exasperation on his face is like, what are you people doing? I mean, you can't, when you're in that position, you can't understand because you know the details, you know what these guys are seeing and what they're looking at and what type of scumbags that they're going after. And you tell these ladies that, these white women is what they are. And they just
the scourge.
It just goes over the top of their head. All right, Issa, looks like Brad bugged out on us. We're gonna bug out too, brother. Thanks for coming tonight and giving us an explanation on your debate. Get another debate. We'll get you on here again also. So God bless you guys. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you next week on the Crossing Discussion Group. God bless.
advanced, student, and specialist, that the standard narrative has holes. That's what
that the Muslims were rioting against one another. And as much as we don't want to face the fact, the Muslims were lying sometimes. They were fabricating, they were embellishing, and that might be hard to accept, but that is a reality.
You there? Can you hear me?
Jesus.
Oh, you can't see me. Alright, whatever. See ya, Issa. I can hear you coughing. I hope you're feeling better. Alright.
End it. Oh, it's still live? I thought I ended it. Okay. End stream.